Okay, so welcome everybody, Hanaho, one more time. It's Monday night club trainers training. So appreciate everybody joining us today. Lots of stuff to cover today. This is kind of an important part of the Rotary year, the second half of it. So we're trying to accomplish two things. One, to try to really finish up strong our current year with our current club presidents and administrators, and then we want to get a really strong head start ready to go for our incoming group that'll take over July 1. So anybody have any announcements or anything you guys would like to say, add, questions you want to ask before we get rolling? Because I'm going to turn it over to Naomi, and she's going to kind of go through the schedule of what we're going to do the next few months and the important role that you guys are going to play in making that happen. Anybody? Okay.
Go Bulldogs.
Go Bulldogs. Hey, is that right now? Is that going on right now?
Just finished.
Don't say anything, Dave.
Okay, so I didn't catch the game, so so Go Bulldogs kind of gives me a hint, right? So all right. Okay, well, Go Bulldogs. All right, so if anybody, sorry, I got a moth flying around over here. So if anybody, if nobody has any questions or comments, I'm gonna turn it over to Naomi. We're gonna kind of talk about what's gonna be coming up in the next few months, what important part you can play, and then we'll kind of drill down into some of the details, and then we'll finish up kind of having a discussion about some of the things that you're wanting to discuss later on, as we're going to be presenting a Vibrant Clubs workshop in March, and then also doing our spring assemblies in April. And I'd like to get some feedback from all of you guys on what topics you think will be really well received, or topics we can really dig into for those sessions. So start thinking about it, because I will call on you and get your idea on it. Okay, so Naomi, you wanna walk us through the calendar then?
Sure. Okay, so we've got a lot of things coming up, and you can see here at all of these training things that we have planned. But you, as club trainer, it's really important for you to see what's coming up so that you can help your club get the people to the right training. So on Saturday, the 22nd, we have an incoming board training. So we're going to talk about how the boards are configured, the roles and responsibilities, how it can work together to help guide the club. So please encourage your board members, current and incoming, to attend that session. We're having board training once a quarter, so we will have 2 more this year. No, are we having 2 more this year? So
yes.
once a quarter, we want to have the board training. Kuleana is on February 2nd, and that is for new members or people who want to know more about Rotary. And Benson has this is for leadership. So this is Kuleana Leadership 101. So these are for members who want to learn about the leadership, about leadership skills, and get more involved. And so here, as club trainers, when you think about succession plans, you can look at people who can attend these and groom them so they can be future leaders in your club or in their careers. Then we have club trainers, again, always on the second Monday. Then our pre-pets is on the 19th, that's virtual. So pre-pets, we talk about for the president-elects, we're going to be talking about the plans for the year for foundation, membership, youth service, and go over the calendar for next year. So we're developing the calendar for the whole year from July. Then club presidents are the 3rd Monday. So PEs on the 1st Monday, club trainers the 2nd Monday, and then the club presidents on the 3rd Monday, and the 4th Monday is for youth service. Southwest Pets is in Los Angeles, and the reason why we moved it to Southwest Pets is because we can get flights back on Sunday afternoon rather than having to stay till Monday. And it was a little cheaper at the hotel that's close to the airport. So a lot of benefits for going to Southwest Pets. Right now, it's going to be in person, but of course, we cannot mandate anyone to go to an in-person event. So we are going to have our own post pets or pets, our own virtual pets on March 12th, and that'll be virtual. And we'll try and pick up all of the things that we're going to cover at pets at that post pet at the virtual pets. So Southwest Pets right now is in person, but if there is any change in the government's limitation on number of people or gatherings, they will look at going to virtual or to another location. But right now it is in person at the LA Marriott. So, you know, every year pets is different. So even if you have a Hanaho president and they've been to pets before, it would be still good for them to go and learn from other districts what they're doing and really pick up some ideas for what they can do in their years. So youth service chairs are on the 20th. And by the way, for youth service, there's an event on May 20 and it's an award ceremony. So we're asking the Interacts and Rotaract clubs to think of a project, and then we have an award for them, and we're going to award the awards at that May 20th event. So it's a leadership kind of training where they plan in a project. And so we're going to be judging them on the impactfulness, is that a word? Impactful of impact on that project and how they organize that project. Okay. Then we have Leadership Academy. And so, you know, Leadership Academy is for past presidents of clubs. And so if you have people in your club that want to learn more, take a deeper dive into Rotary, please encourage them to sign up for the Leadership Academy. So we're going to be taking applications again in about July, July, and we start up in August.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to have foundation dinners around the state, hopefully. It could be a virtual dinner, but that's in March. And then we're going to, the Makeup Pets is on March 12th. Then we have Vibrant Club workshops, and this is how to train the trainer to have a Vibrant Club workshop in your club. That's March 19th, Saturday. Then we have transition training, and then the assemblies are coming up. So the assemblies are going to be virtual, and this is where we have breakout sessions specifically to train the chairs, train the officers so that they know what their position calls for, and we can give them ideas, we can brainstorm, and hopefully that will help the club with a stronger board with people that are on the board that know what to do. Okay, so please, you know, look out for the training assemblies that you want to encourage your whole board to be there and people on committees to be there. Then we have Rotarians at Work on April 23rd. And I think the suggestion is to do another environmental, like we did last year, Ridge to Reef project. Then Kuleana again, and then we have incoming board training again in May, then district conference, and then the international conference. Hey, you know, for the international conference, it's in Houston this year. Next year, it's in Melbourne. The year after that, Singapore. Then it's going to be Calgary. 2026, it's in Taipei. So Taipei got to come back again. I guess what, 2027 is in Hawaii. So I know, save up your money to go to Rotary International Conventions. They're awesome to really get to see people, hear good speakers, and get really good ideas. Okay, Benson?
Okay, thanks, Naomi. That's great. All right, so a couple things I wanted to go over. You saw on that calendar a number of events called transition training. So what I'm going to do is go over real quickly what that's going to be. So let me share a screen here, and then on the back end of this, we're gonna kind of talk about what this is going to be. So hang on a second. Let me get the right slideshow here from the beginning. Okay, so transition training is basically that, right? So we have this unique thing in Rotary where at the end of the Rotary year, we're already starting up the people to take over the new year. So critical to Rotary is what happens in the April, May, and June. Now, some of you that have been around in Rotary a long time, this is generally where the president of the club just sort of starts, kind of going downhill. They don't have much to worry about. Let the PE do all the work, and just can kind of like float on out there. But a couple of years ago, since Naomi was DG, we decided to really focus on those 3 months of the year, April, May, and June. One, so that we could finish really strong in our current year. And the second thing would be, the second objective was to really get our new group, whether it's going to be new board, new committee chairs, and especially the new president on board and ready to go. So let me kind of walk you through this real quick. Like I said, this is a critical time for Rotary clubs all over the world because the outgoing guys are getting ready to go out and the incoming people are getting ready to come in. So unless you have some sense of continuity during this period of time, you're not going to have any continuity because the new people are going to come in and they're going to feel like, wow, we're just starting all over from scratch. So the key person to making this continuity happen, you got it. It's the club trainer. So, prior to Naomi's year, I don't think we had any club trainers in our district. So just really in the last couple of years, regular training for club trainers. Like somebody like Gail, who's been a club trainer for years and years, there wasn't really any regular training program within the district for club trainers. So now we're doing it. Okay, and so the important piece is that about club trainers is that you're the continuity piece, right? So the transition of leadership will really dictate two things, right? How we finish and how we're going to start the next year. All right. So in about March of my first year as president, the DG during my first year as president was Win Shoneman. And I told him this. I said, I really didn't understand what my job was until my term was almost over. Now, luckily, in my club, our PE couldn't go, so I actually ended up doing it another year. And so after I did it one year, then I was able to kind of figure out what I was supposed to do. But a lot of us aren't going to have that chance. So we really need to make sure that everybody gets a good start. Okay, so I want to walk you through, here's 10 things that I think that every club can do that'll help to create a smooth and effective transition in your specific club. Now, you don't have to write these down. I mean, you can if you want. But over the next 3 months, I'm going to go over these things, over and over and over again. It's going to be like fourth grade and multiplication tables where you just go over and over again. Okay. First thing is you have to assemble the leadership in your club. All right. President, president-elect, club trainer, board members, past presidents. This is the core group of every club. So how that core group goes is how your club goes. And if you have a lot of support from this core group of folks, then your club can grow, it can expand, it can do all kinds of things based on the involvement and engagement of this group of people. So start looking at assembling your club leadership. That's important. And then obviously expanding it too, right? So you have good people come into your club. They're dynamic people. You can see they have leadership ability. That's when you want to engage them right here. Okay. Second thing is really to create a plan. And we actually go over this and Vibrant Club training. So when we have that Vibrant Club training on March 19th, I recommend that everybody in your club come to it, because here's the things that we're going to do, right? First of all, we're going to complete a strategic plan for your club, right? And you guys know that if you have a strategic plan, chances are a lot better that you're going to be successful rather than if you don't have one. So once you decide what that plan is going to be and you set goals for yourself, you have to put dates out there and assign people to drive those things. I call them drivers. Establish dates where you're going to check in. And then the last thing is that when you make a strategic plan, somebody has to be accountable for achieving that plan, and it's the board. Okay. So I've done a lot of strategic plans for clubs where I come in and kind of walk them through that process. And before I get there, I ask, well, do you have a strategic plan? And a lot of them say, yeah, we had one. We actually did one back in 2014. I said, what happened to that plan? Well, I don't know. It's in somebody's drawer someplace, or it's in a folder sitting on, somebody's credenza somewhere. But nobody ever took it out and looked at it. So once the strategic plan is done, the people who are responsible or accountable for that strategic plan actually coming to fruition is the board. So if you're a board member, that's your kuleana, okay? So third thing, right, is we really want to finish strong. I know that, before we really started pushing this transition, the PE would come back from pets, they'd all be raring to go, but they really couldn't do anything until the sitting president finished out their term, right? And maybe the sitting president is still motivated, maybe they're not motivated anymore, maybe they're gung-ho and just want to finish really strong, maybe they don't. So what we're trying to do in this 3-month period is to get the leadership of the club. That's why first thing was assemble a leadership, get all those people together, and then commit to finishing out the year strong, taking a look at the goals that you have set for yourself, and then what goals can we finish this year, right? So if you're sitting down and it's March and April, okay, we got 3 more months, gang, what could we finish of the goals that we set? If we're not going to finish some of the goals, can we carry them over now to 2022, 23? Okay, because you didn't finish a goal doesn't mean that you failed at it. It just maybe you just ran out of time, and you can pass that on. And so that's a really important reason why you want to have a leadership line, because then you can start thinking in longer terms beyond just I'm going to try to do this in my year, and if I don't finish it, well, too bad. Okay, that's why when you get to the district governor level, and you do that training, what they tell you to do is never refer to your year as district governor as my year, because it all works together. It all kind of goes seamlessly. It's supposed to go that way from year to year, and then finish up. One of the things at the district level that's kind of frustrating is that people leave a lot of loose ends out there, don't finish all the reports, close out all the books, put in all the information needed in Club Central so that we can actually do club citations, right? So, so part of what we want to have the club trainers and the assistant governors do is to help the current administration in the club make sure that, all of your events are all put in there, volunteer hours are put in there, all that stuff that goes into Club Central, so that we, at the end of the year, we can actually fully acknowledge clubs that it's all there. Because some clubs are really, they're really detailed in putting all that information. Some clubs don't put in anything. So we want to make sure that we're really consistent about that. Okay, so that's number 3, finish strong. Okay, number 4. Pass the torch on. Now, this is kind of something that you have to decide within your club how soon you want to do this, right? Because some clubs, the current president is like, well, hey man, when it's July 1, you can take over, but I'm president until that time. There's some clubs where they said, hey, great, So let's start transitioning. Let's start getting the PE to do some of the meetings. Let's get the new board members into meetings. Start getting these guys that are going to be the leadership of your club the following year, getting them adjusted and acclimated to some of the stuff that they're going to do, right? So, part of that is just, is reviewing the responsibilities of the incoming leadership, looking over your processes, right? Maybe some things need to be adjusted. Obviously, COVID's really dictated that a lot of adjustments be made. Assess whatever training needs that you have, and that's where me and Naomi can come in. Like, boy, we need some board training. We need strategic planning sessions. Those kinds of things, you can reach out to us and we can help you. Remember, the club continuity is really centered around club trainer, treasurer, secretary, board members, right? So there's good continuity in there. Then your club's going to have good continuity going from year to year. Okay, if you haven't developed a budget already, it'd be time to do that. You can do that before the new year starts. Because budget is important, right? One, it's going to dictate your activity level, right? What you're going to be able to do with the money you have. Budget will create incentive to increase membership. So if your budget is like, wow, we don't have the money to do this, but if we add 6 or 7 more new members, then our budget increases exponentially. We're able to do more things. It's just like we talk about it at the district level. So right now we have about 1,500 members in our district. But if we went up to 2,000 members, it would take us to a whole different activity level, because now we have the funding to do some things that we can't do right now. All right. And then a budget will also help planning for fundraising activities if you need to have them. Okay. So get that budget done. All right. Book your calendar. You can book a lot of stuff. People are into like, hey, tell me what date in 2023 you want to meet for lunch, and I'll book it on my calendar. So make sure we don't miss it. So, when I was club president, I liked doing it on the quarter method. So this incoming quarter, you want to get together, book all your speakers, all the events for July, August, September. So then when the new group takes over, July 1, all of those calendar dates are all solid, right? So you're always like going a quarter ahead of time, right? So once the new first quarter shows up, you're booking all the stuff for your second quarter, because I know that's the goal of everybody, is to try to get advance notice on everything, but like a lot of things, they don't materialize to the last minute, and that just puts a lot of stress and strain on a lot of people. And then one more thing, let me take you back here. Okay, promote your calendar on your social media. Let people know. Like, for example, when we did that group meeting on December 7th, or General Shinseki, Gwen's club did it. We were able to get that out to a lot of people in our district, and we had over 100 people attend. And it's because we had a meeting and then we promoted it in our social media and throughout the district. So that's an important thing. That's one of the reasons why you want to get your calendar in there early. Okay, moving right along. Okay, so plan a club assembly towards the end of the year and just say, hey, guys, we've been putting together a plan. Here's our goals for the upcoming 22-23 year. What do you guys think? Run some of those things by them. Get buy-in from your club, because if you get buy-in from your club and you have that level of support, then when you throw out activities, all this stuff, and ask for their help, everybody's ready to do it. Remember, part of what we're trying to do, right, in our strategic priorities is enhance participant engagement. And that's really trying to get more people in your club involved in the kinds of things that the club is doing. Okay. All right. 8 is to update your social media. And, the people that are like the social media watchers, Josh, Ted Figel, all these guys, one of the things that drives people nuts is when they go to your website and it hasn't been updated for like 6 months. The meeting, you know, where the club's meetings are going to be, who the officers are. I went on my my daughter is moving cross country from Boston back to the Seattle area, and she was telling me, "Oh, I'm going to live in this particular area." So the first thing I did, of course, was look up what Rotary Club is in that area. And when I went on their website, you know, they had some really nice stuff on it, but it was 2020. So you know, keep your social media up. That is the best way to promote what you're doing inside your club. Okay, and then 9 is put your events out there. I know it's been really nuts and difficult trying to do events in COVID, but what I've learned is this, or the reality that we all have to accept is that this COVID thing isn't going to go away. We're going to have to deal with it one way or another. I mean, I think it'll start continue to improve, but we can't sit back and I'll just wait till it ends. So we gotta figure out ways in which we can go forward and do Rotary's work, because that's important regardless of whatever situation we have out there. Okay, and then the last thing is like celebrate the transition. You know, when the new leadership comes in and the old leadership goes out, you know, really got to acknowledge the efforts and accomplishment of the outgoing officers. You know, emphasize the strength of what your plan is ahead, and because when you do that, and people have hope and optimism for what's ahead, then they're motivated to really participate and really engage. And then you know, be sure to celebrate in whatever celebration means to you. Okay, do it. Okay, so remember, our transition is really around our strategic priorities, right? The Rotary set up for us, increase our impact. So increase your impact. So let me just take a quick second to explain where all these came from. Increase our impact came from polio, right? Because we had a huge effect on the entire planet when we decided to take on polio. So we can go out there and do things with in our community that can really make a huge impact out there. So expanding reach is really directed specifically towards membership. And so if we have the ability to expand, to go beyond, you know, just the people that we know and help expand membership, that's what we want to do. And then enhance participant engagement. I talked about that earlier. It's really about looking into your clubs and engaging those people that are not that active. And every club has a group of those people. And so we can do that. And then, you know, increasing ability to adapt. It's kind of like they threw the pandemic at us to see how well we could adapt. That's basically it. So that's kind of what we're going through. Naomi, I see you kind of leaning forward, so I think you have something to add to that. And then I'll take some questions. I see Gail, you had a question. Go ahead.
Yeah, district conference, is this virtual, or is it we're all together, and where is it if we're all together?
Well, right now it's scheduled to be in person. I think we're going to be at the Disney facility out there.
Okay, I didn't know if that had changed because of COVID. Okay.
Yeah. So anybody have the latest update on it? I mean, I don't.
Sandy should have that, right?
Sandy, you have that?
We're currently planning to go in person, and in fact, they did relax the meeting requirements, so we were able to increase the capacity. And so we just need to continue to monitor it and to see what kind of new regulations and policies may come down from the state or from the county. But as of now, we're planning to go in person, but we will make some things available in a hybrid situation.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions or comments about the transition, about what's ahead? I think the other thing we wanted to go over tonight, Naomi, was qualifications, right? We didn't want to talk about that. Okay, do you want to take a few minutes and do that now?
Okay. We're talking about the qualifications for grants for next year. And so we had that training, but just wanted to ask you to please help your PE, get those documents in. So our policy manual for foundation says that we need to get everybody qualified by January 31st. So we had the training, the grant management training in September. And so for the clubs that didn't have 2 people there, I did send an email out with the instructions on how to get qualified now. So if your club did not have 2 people at the training, you would need to have 1 or 2 people, whatever amount of people you're missing, to review the session. So I sent the recording of that session and then take the quiz on SurveyMonkey. So we can see the scores of and who took the quiz, and then you would get qualified. So the qualifications are 2 people at the training, then 3 documents signed by the PE and the PN. If you don't have a PN, it would be the current president. If you don't have a current, if you're missing somebody, then it could be a past president. So the 3 documents are the MOU, the Memorandum of Understanding, the Addendum, and the Financial Management Plan. Those are the 3 documents. So 2 people, 3 documents, plus we need the tax return for the one that was for year ended June 30, 2021. So you have those things. And then the last thing would be your final report due on May 31st for this year. So if we're going to follow for people that are missing items, and we want everybody to be qualified to get next year's grants by January 31st. The applications for next year will be due in June, and we'll cover that at another session with the PEs on how to fill out the application and some of the ideas that you can have to use that grant money. We are going to work on the allocations for how much money you're getting for your grants in February. So we will have that for the president-elects, hopefully by PETS. And then when we have assembly again, we'll have those spreadsheets out for you, so you know how much money you're getting for district designated grants, district grants, and global grants. Okay. Questions on that before we go to Doug Adams' hand? Any questions on qualifying?
Okay, gang, so everybody got it? Okay, should we go to Doug's hand? All right, Doug, going to your hand now.
The slides that you had, your slide deck, is that going to be available?
It can be, yep, certainly can. Would love to send them out to anybody who wants them. Let's see, well, somebody else had their hand up. Was that Mariko? Oh yeah, you know why? Because your hand is right in the sunset and it looks like it's part of the clouds. Yeah, so go for it. Thank you, Mariko.
Okay, so 2 questions, and actually going back to Naomi's calendar. So the March 19th Vibrant Club Workshop, who is the target audience? And so that's the number 1. Number 2 question was DGE's meeting in May on May 9th with PEs from 6 to 7. What is it?
Okay, the Vibrant Club Workshop, it would be for the presidents, the president-elects, club trainers, and any board member that wants to go. And anybody who wants to go, they can go to the Vibrant Club, but it's a more of a train the trainer kind of training where we can go over what the priorities are and how you can conduct a strategic plan of Vibrant Club. And I think, Benson, we're going to be talking more about Vibrant Clubs, right, later in this meeting today?
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, whenever we're ready.
Okay, and then the meeting in May, that would be for PEs, and that's a transition for president and president-elects, and talking about how we can make a smooth transition from this year's board and officers to next year's.
Okay, good. Gail, you had a question? Go ahead.
Yeah, for the youth service chair training, is that going to be by Zoom? It is, okay. So how do I get that Zoom link to Carla, who is our youth service chair? Is that something that's going to come to me and I forward it to her?
Ryan Char does send out the agenda and the links to all of the youth service chairs and advisors that we have email addresses for. And that's sent out the week before or maybe a few days before that event. But also, anytime you need a Zoom link on a district training, go to the district website and look on the upcoming events, click on the title. And then when you sign, you need to log in to get that Zoom, but the Zoom links are always on the district website.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions? All right. Okay, so I'm gonna just kind of roll through this Vibrant Clubs, just kind of go over it very briefly. But on the back side of that, I want to finish up this meeting with a discussion. Okay, and so I'm gonna pose this question out there. Then I want to come back. I'm going to call on you guys, and we can get a discussion going. Okay, so the question is this, right? So if Naomi and I were going to come to your club and we're going to do a special training for your club on anything you want, what would it be? All right. So Naomi and I are going to come to your club and we're going to do a special 1-hour training on whatever you want it to be. Pick whatever topic you want, and we'll come and do that. So tell me or us what that would be on the back side of this. Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple minutes to think about it. So let's talk about Vibrant Clubs right now. So, okay, so you can see this. All right, so be a Vibrant Club. So basically what Vibrant Clubs is about, it's about getting your club engaged in all the stuff that Rotary does, right? So here, I'll walk you kind of through this. And so it's really about, gee, I wish that print wasn't so small. It's really about getting the club on a firm footing, getting a strategic plan set up for the club, and then working with ways in which you can follow through with that strategic plan. So, you know, as I mentioned earlier in that transition PowerPoint presentation, if you have a plan, chances are really good you will achieve whatever is on that plan, as opposed to if you don't have one, right? So clubs tend to be a lot more productive and engaged if they have a plan. So it talks about basically all kinds of different formats that you can do as a Vibrant Club, working with the core group of people that you have. We're going to talk about different types of goals that you can set as a club, how to communicate, basically how to hold meetings to keep people informed about things, looking out strategically long-term, where would you like your club to be in 3 years, 5 years, working with the transitions as we talked about. You know, running a Rotary club can be really difficult if it's all on the shoulders of 1 or 2 people. So one of the things that that Naomi and I have been trying to work with, and we're going to continue to work with this going into the future, is trying to get the club to run itself. All right. So what that means basically is that the workload is spread out over a group of people, as opposed to just, you know, the president and you know, maybe the chair of the board, where instead of having all the responsibility on 1 or 2 people, it's really on, you know, 10 or 12 people. And once the responsibility on the operation of the club is spread out over a wider group, that club tends to be more engaged and tends to really function and operate a lot smoother than clubs that are more centered on, you know, one central leader. Like I'll take Waikiki, for example, like in Gail's Club. One of the reasons that they're really productive is that they have systems in place. The responsibility of the club is spread out over a wider group of people, as opposed to just the president. So these are the kinds of things that we're going to address in the Vibrant Club workshop. Basically, how to get people in your club engaged. That's why Naomi was saying we recommend that that the president come, the president-elect, board, committee chairs, everybody in your club that's in a leadership position show up so that we can talk about how the club has the possibility of running itself, and it really comes with the expansion of that core group and having a strategic plan and then putting that in the hands of the board to carry that through. So that's kind of the preamble of what the Vibrant Clubs workshop is going to be on March 19th. So, okay, so back to my question. I'm going to start with you, Kimo. I know, Kimo Becker, I know that you're there even though your camera's off. So if we were going to come out to North Hawaii and we're going to do something for you guys that you think would be really effective and useful, what would that be? Why don't we start with you?
Dr. Benson, thank you for starting with me. I think probably membership, because we're almost like starting all over again. So I think that's what we would do. We would kind of focus on membership, and the whole core and energy of what builds Rotary is membership. Without that, you're suffering, as our club has suffered. So I think that's you and Naomi are like superstars when it comes to developing membership. So and Doug and several other people, Glenn, I mean, there's a number of people that really know. Sandy, of course, knows how to develop membership. So I think that's what we would need. We would need help on that.
Okay, all right, that's good. That's one of the main things that we do in Rotary training is addressing membership. Alan, how about you? What could we do at your club that would be really useful and good for you guys at this point?
Well, we have a small club and and I'm the club trainer. It's just really trying to work with the neophytes. I think the job descriptions are really important. We just don't know whose job is to send out the billing. Well, we're documenting that, but people forget.
Yeah.
The responsibilities between the treasurer and the secretary, who works with who puts out the notices for meetings and all that. We're in the process, not that we need help, but we're in the process of going through each one of these job descriptions. Although we do have an outline that we use from the district, but with so few members, it's we're all doubling up on jobs, but actually it's all doubling up on me. But anyway, so I'm just trying to spread the load. But that's been our problem. People just don't know what they're supposed to do, or if they do know, they forget. So I keep telling them to go to the website, but as young as they are, they're not really that excited about the T5000 website. But that's just my observation.
Yeah. Okay.
I want to too critical.
No. That's good. That's good. That's what we're looking for. Did you want to respond to that, Naomi? I saw your mouth moving on it.
She's shaking her head.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think you were nodding or smiling or something.
Well, Alan, at the district, the reason why we were asking these questions is because at district assembly, we want to make sure that we have meaningful training. So this is very good suggestions, because when we do train the treasurers and the secretaries, we want to be sure to cover that. So please, we want to make the district training very meaningful and cover as much as you think is necessary to train your people.
Yeah, and I've gone to all the district assemblies and I've learned a lot. You folks always had a good program. The problem is you gotta lead the horse to the water. And that's what I'm trying to get our club to do, get excited about finding out what you're supposed to do and getting to those meetings. But it's been tough.
Okay, good feedback. Thank you. So Len Goya, what can we do for your club?
I would like Naomi to help the club understand how to navigate D5000
Hmm.
and how it is relevant to the different positions in the club and how they can use D5000 as a resource.
Yeah.
And in a way that would be user-friendly for people who are really not comfortable with using the computer. Yeah.
Okay, great. That's a great one. So Gail, I see you're really nodding your head. You want to add something onto that?
Bravo, that's an excellent point. Telling people, oh, you just go to the D5000 website, you can find everything there. No, you can't. And I'm pretty computer savvy. I mean, that's what I used to do. And I got to really look and search in order to find things. So what I've done for my club is when I find something, I'll make up a little cheat sheet of here's how I found what I was looking for. And then the president will share that with others in the club. But what Lynn just suggested is dynamite because it is not really obvious where stuff is on the D5000 website, mostly because there's so much stuff on it.
Yes.
And also, I mean, I took a note that says, I got to tell Carla she has to log in on the D5000 website in order to find the Zoom link. I have never logged in on the D5000 website. I haven't a clue how to do it. I don't even know what my username and my password would be. I probably have one, but I've never done it. So that would be really good, bare bones basic. Here's what you have to do to create a user ID and a password so you can log in. And once you log in, here's how you can find the Zoom links for whatever it is you're looking for. That's my recommendation
Yeah,
as a club
good.
trainer.
Okay, good feedback. Eva, what's your thought on it? What can you bring to your club?
Okay, I'm very lucky I joined the Waikiki Club. So I'm very lucky, God bless. I have a good president. I have Gail as a club trainer. She trained me so good. So she's detailing to explain to you, first step is this document, second step, you have to put on your action to do this. She trained me like a preschool kid. I am a preschool kid because I'm new for 3 years. I have to learn. She understands. So if a personal meeting, she will hand to hand to teach you how to do that. Like teach your child how to close your button, how to tie your shoes tie. She's training very good. Very good. Yes.
I have to put in that Eva was our community service chair and she'd never done that before. Yeah. And she was a phenomenal community service chair. She chaired so many projects, and this is while COVID was going on. She even got recognized by Rotary International for her outstanding work. And so kudos to Eva. She's going to take over as club trainer as of July 1st, because I've done it for about 8 years and it's time to move aside and let somebody else do it. And so I've invited Eva to take part over the next few months to see what it is. And then when the meeting's over, I'll call her up and say, these are the notes I took. Here's what I'm going to write up. And that's what I'll give to our president and president-elect. And if I miss anything that she caught, we get double whammy. Okay. So that's you're preparing in advance for the old one going out, the news coming in.
You guys make a good team. So thanks a lot for working together on it. So
may I say something,
yeah.
Ben? Sorry.
Yes.
Because I'm new, I copy the senior member. So I'm copy machine to copy what they done, they did, they do. So for another club, they might encourage the new member to copy the good stuff for our club, because that's our goal, our good model from the senior members. I don't know what to do. I don't know nothing about Rotary Club. So I just copy machine and copy the senior member, what they did, what they do, what they done. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, just that goes back to continuity, right? So
Mm.
you're able to do that, Eva, because Gail has created continuity in your club. And that's the epitome of it right there. So awesome. So thank you. So, okay, Dave, I'm going to get to you. So what can we bring to your club that would be really helpful at this point?
Just update all the informations in the future. That's it. We follow,
Okay.
we try to support. That's all. Yeah,
Okay.
our members are really supportable and have a very good president and members and board members. They are very supportive. Just bring in some update news and update futures plan. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you, Eva.
Thank you.
Okay, Dave, what's your thought?
I would say that the one thing that our club is lacking and really could use some help on is how to get the 80% that aren't doing anything involved again, the old 80-20 rule.
Yeah.
Because we're getting to that burnout period where the club's getting older and the people that have been working really hard all these years are now saying, it's my time to relax. And, you know, and others, I'll let other people take it, but then nobody takes it. And so instead of having 2 deep and 3 deep, like we used to have, we're down to 1, you know, 1 deep if we're lucky, and and some people are doing double. It would be great to be able to kind of have a talk about how we encourage people to stay involved, even if they've been involved before.
Mariko, I see you kind of nodding your head. You want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I think many members may be very willing to participate in projects, but when they are asked to step up to take up the board positions or the some kind of leadership role, they hesitate. So, that is where I also need help.
Okay, getting people to participate. All right. Beth, what's your
in my club, it's challenging because we have many A personalities. They want to do the projects. They want to follow what's supposed to be done as far as reporting. But I hear, comments like, why are we doing double reporting? We have to report on this form, and then we have to report also on the website. And some of them cannot, I think they have difficulty accessing a report. So
Yeah.
I don't know how I can help them. Because I know there's a report, right, for every service projects that you do. So we've been doing it on an Excel form, but then it's double work to do it in Excel form, a narrative, and there's no consistency. So yeah, is there some way we can help the members, the leadership, and or service chairs, when they finish a project, how we're supposed to put how many man-hours there are involved, the workforce. Yeah, that's where we're struggling with.
Yeah, well, there's a way that you can put it right into Rotary Club Central, on that goals area of your club. You want to respond to that, Naomi?
I think Sandy needs to respond to that because it's Sandy's requirement to have that extra form. So Sandy, you want them to do the form and also put it onto Rotary Club Central, yeah? Is there a way to streamline that?
Are you talking about the extra form, Naomi? Is that what you're talking about? The one that Mark Merriam's team came up with? Actually, at this point, what we're really encouraging with members is that those who have good projects, we would like as many of our projects as possible to be showcased on the Rotary International Showcase. And I think that information was shared at the last president's meeting. I think the form was something we tried to find. Mark, and you can chime in here whenever you like, Mark, too, because Mark is the chair of that committee. We actually tried to simplify the process for clubs to help make it easier for clubs to gather the information so that they could input it into Rotary Club Central, into my Rotary. We know that sometimes inputting the data is a challenge. It's a challenge sometimes for me too, because there are different places for information to be inputted, and it's not always easy. So that extra form, and Mark, chime in anytime you like here. That extra form, they created it in an attempt to make it easier. But at this point, I think we're just going to go back to having clubs input that same information into Rotary Club Central, where it should be anyway. And it was a duplication for those clubs that did both. And we see that 2020 hindsight. The main thing is we got to try to get clubs geared toward really inputting that information into Rotary International Database, the Rotary Club Central, which is something we've had a hard time doing. So anything you folks can do as district trainers to help us with that would be terrific. And I agree, when we just tell people, look, just go here and do it, it's not that easy. And I think you will see that, like Benson and I, especially like at the president's meetings and other meetings as well, we actually try to walk people through the steps, screen by screen by screen. Yeah.
So are all the service chairs, do they have access to put in the report? Because we're getting confusing information. We're told that the secretary and the president and only foundation have access to it. I thought all the chairs of the or all the directors would have access to them to make it easier for them to write the report instead of having just a few people have access.
So Beth, the form that the district has, anybody can do it, okay? But for Rotary Club Central, there are only certain people that can get in there. And we will, for the president-elects, we're going to have a Rotary Club Central training because Randy would like all of the goals to be done by pets. So we'll walk you through that. But Benson is 8 o'clock. So may I suggest that we want the club trainers to be the resource person for the club. So what if we had in the next few months a train the trainer kind of thing where club trainers can tell us what kind of training you need so we can train you so that you know how to train your members and give that information. So you guys are the most knowledgeable person in your club, and you're the go-to person in your club. So we need to know what training you need. So if it's online training, we can do that. We have that usually at the training assembly for online resources, but whatever you want, we can do the training for you.
You know, the president-elect meeting that's coming up at our club, the president-elect, Liz Kane, decided to put the club trainer under membership. So it's not a separate position. And so that means that the club trainer then will not have voting rights. The club trainer has to report to the membership, to the member chair. How do you feel about that?
Well, personally, I think that the club trainer is really, it's a really important position. I mean, I don't want to say it's more important than the president, but you know, the club trainer is in a position where you could be that for multiple years, right? And we've always felt the club trainer was really the catalyst of whatever continuity the club does from year to year. So as the club trainer goes, I mean, if the club trainer, asserts themselves and is involved in actually bringing all those pieces together, it can be really, really effective. I mean, that's our goal in the long term. So here's the thing, we're at the top of the hour now, so we want to wind it up. This is a good discussion, and when we get together next month, let's sort of continue on this line because, you know, this is a really influential group as far as what direction Naomi and I take with the training. So your input is really, really valuable to us. And we have the ability to really affect in which direction the district goes. I mean, in terms of just how we're going to put training out there, what specific things we're going to train for. You know, and a lot of things that came out tonight are, they're not new things, but they're things that need to get some attention. So we appreciate that input. So with that, we'll just kind of wind up for the evening. I thank you guys for coming up on a Monday night and being here one more time. We'll get together again on the second Monday of next month, and we'll continue this conversation. So thanks a lot, and you guys have a good evening tonight. Take care.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, everybody. Have a good night tonight. See you later.
Hey, Sandy, can you stay on?
Yep.
Okay. And Dave Mostert, if you do. So Sandy, what did you mean by what? Was there something that was confusing that we didn't, we should cover better?
No, I think what I was saying, if in the context of what I was talking about, you know, Naomi, when we work with Rotary Club Central, or when we work with My Rotary or Club Runner, it gets really, really confusing to folks, right? Especially to the people at the club level of understanding that there is a difference between My Rotary and Rotary International, Rotary Club Central, what they input on the district, how that relates to what happens with Rotary International. Those things I find get confusing if you don't work with it on a day-to-day basis, right? And so I don't think it's a shortcoming necessarily on the training part, but I think the more and more training we do and the better we get at this, the more I think these kinds of things come out. We try to make things easier for them at the club level, but sometimes the tools that we use, to be really honest with you, with Club Runner and even the Rotary International website, it is not the most user-friendly, nor is it the most compatible. It is very challenging, especially to those people who don't work with databases on a regular basis. So no, I don't, please don't take that as a criticism on training so much as it is just how the systems currently are. Right? It's tough. It's tough. It's just like Beth brought up a really good point. You know, Mark and Kelly tried to come up with a form to make life easier for clubs because we heard that they were having challenges inputting it, right? Into My Rotary. So we were just trying to make it easier. And as it turns out, it just became more confusing. And I think Beth brought that out. There were some clubs that are very good about trying to input all of this information. And the reality is we have some clubs that just, it's kind of like what Alan said, you got to kind of lead the horse to water, so to speak, right? It's hard to get people to even go there to input it. So please don't take that as a criticism of my comment on training. It's just the tools that we use.
No, it's just that you put just what, and so we wanted to know what.
Yeah. No, and Sandy, I totally get that. And Alan, I understand right where you're at on it. Is that you know, you have to have an understanding of how these things work, and then there has to be either some way that people can be shown how to do it in person or online. There has to be processes that make sense to people and they can grasp them. But we're working with volunteers, right? So we get some. Go ahead, Alan. Go ahead, Alan.
To follow that comment, can we get a line diagram? Because I'm the club trainer. I can't get it. I'm trying to get in Club Central. I don't know where to find it. Is it under My Rotary? Is it RI? Is it district?
You probably don't have access to it.
Huh?
Yeah. Well, unless you're the executive secretary, you might not have access, but we have things on the district website that show you exactly how step by step how to do it. And then we do the training for the PEs too. So we're going to be doing that for the PEs, But Alan, I can send you, Rotary International has these step-by-step
can you-
pictures on how to do
Can
that.
you please?
Yeah.
I'm the club trainer. I'm trying to train people. I can't even get on. So
Yeah, but
It's a
Rotary
personal
Club
problem.
Central, yeah, but Rotary Club Central is only for the goals that the PE puts in. And when they're president on their updating, and then for the projects is for the projects that you put in. So it's all of the specific positions can do it for the community service person. But because there are only a few people that can get in, the training is limited to those people.
You're right, Naomi. I remember going through that discussion with you because I got so frustrated. I couldn't get in. I didn't know what I was trying to do. And then you told me, oh, it's only restricted to a certain number of people. I said, wow, that's great. I spent hours trying to get in. Okay, but some of these basic fundamentals, I think maybe we gotta, I'm trying to put something together so I can guide the club, but I'm totally lost. I can't even, I don't know what.
Yeah.
Okay, we want to help you, Alan, be not totally lost so that you can be the smartest guy in your club.
Please, I'm trying to stay one step ahead of the new members, but. Anyway.
So
I have another suggestion too.
go ahead.
As far as the PE training, our club, for example, feels that the club trainer should not be a separate position, not separate board member position. So that role was put under membership. I feel that the club trainer should be a separate position. And if that's something that most of you agree upon, and maybe that's something that you can bring up at the PE meeting.
Well, the problem to every club has maybe different positions and different people they have on their board. And so if your club, your board is saying that that's the way it should be, then that's the way your club decides. But if you feel that it's not right, if you can convince other people on your board and then have because the decision-making body for the club is the board. So not one person.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I think we probably need to make, put this out there, district wide in terms of where we think the club trainer needs to be positioned within the club, right? Because, like I was saying earlier, I really feel like the club president it's the continuity piece for the club, and in some senses, it's more important than the president in terms of, the club trainer could be in there for multiple years. The president really only one. And if the club's trainer's job is really to help everybody to understand what it is they're supposed to be doing, and then they can do it effectively, I would think that would be a really important person within the club structure. Now, Naomi, you're right. I mean, the club ultimately has to decide where they're going to position this person. But I think, as the leadership of the district, we need to tell people, hey, this is an important position. So, it has to be able, because it's typically, right, a past president, somebody that already has some experience, has a few years in Rotary, kind of knows what they're doing. So, it's not like a new person, right? So anyway, I think the club trainer is an important position, and if we don't basically, give it at least the status of being an important in the club, then because the majority of people that are out there, I don't think they even know what a club trainer is, what they're supposed to do, in relationship to the club. So, that's something that's going to be ongoing for us as the district trainers to continue to put that out there to all the people that we're training, that this is an important position. So that's my thought.
Benson and Naomi, I wanted to say that in defense of Sandy, the context of what we both said what for was when you had said presidents have a tendency to slow down at the end of the year and not get not involved. And that's why we said, what? Because I always thought that was the busiest time of the year.
Benson said that, not me. Benson
know,
said that.
I know.
Is that what you were asking about? Yeah,
Yes.
that was responding to Benson. It's like, what do you mean we're checking out? What?
That's the busiest time of the year. We're
It
trying to
should
get
be.
our awards done. We're trying to get
That's
all
my
the board
point.
done.
My point is that this is not the time to slack, man. You gotta hit the gas, man, and you got
Someone didn't tell me that.
you gotta kind of go, yeah. But you know, we see them out there. I mean, you know, not everybody, but there's some like, yeah, kind of like here. But and it really shows in how they finished the year, right? I mean, the guys are really diligent about getting all their stuff in. You know, we know that, okay, here's the guy that or person that just really wants to finish strong, do all the stuff they're supposed to do. And most people do, but some people don't. So,
Yeah.
like I said,
Just say something.
volunteer organization.
What Beth said, and I think this is an important point because Benson, you brought it up too. At the district level, the district leadership level, one of the things that we recognize, as Benson keeps harping on, is this transition from year to year. So that things don't end with one DG and start off the next year with the next DG or with the presidents of the clubs, right? And that we have a succession plan that can go from year to year to year. But we also recognize that presidents already feel overburdened. And we have to share the load and train others who can help make this happen, right? And so that's where the district trainer position can be one of real value. I don't think we've had district trainers with that level of expectation in the past. I was a district trainer and I wasn't expected to do that, right? But now what we're really looking at is creating the succession plan and having a training program so that at the club level, at the district level, we have things in place so that things can continue from year to year. So you raise a good point, but you know, we have not made that a public.
Actually, I think we have. I mean, we've talked about succession planning with the presidents. We talk about the significance of a board and how the board needs to help with the decision making. And tonight, you know, when Benson's saying that we want, you know, we're trying to get the club to run itself. I mean, that's what the ultimate goal is, to get a stronger board, a stronger membership, and have the club run itself so that the president doesn't have everything on their shoulder. So even with the district, you know, we want the district to run itself with the committees knowing what to do, and they don't have to wait. And because, you know, I've heard from people, they're waiting for instruction, and you want people to take the initiative to know what to do and to come up with some of their own ideas, right?
Yeah.
So that's the goal. We want to strengthen the boards.
It's like a good conversation, Beth.
Okay.
Okay, Beth,
I'm putting her
I
to sleep
know.
in Arizona.
what time is it?
10 o'clock.
Yeah, it's
10:30?
about 8:15. So
Oh, 11:15.
give everybody a break
11:15
for
here.
Monday night. So
Good night. Good to see everybody.
okay, thanks you guys. Thanks for
Thank you.
appreciate it. Bye.